Welcome back, Internet. How you guys all doing? I hope you're well out there in the cyberspace and doing well. We are
welcome to our Space Cast.
Tap.
It goes into
Space
space.
Cat. Yes. That's one thing that we could talk about for later.
Space Cats?
No, not Space Cat, but the Perseverance. Yeah. Anyways, welcome back to Makers on Tap, the podcast about making stuff and drinking and just talking about the general makerspace community and all of the hobbyist cool stuff that we are involved in. I am your host, Chris, and joining me tonight are
Aaron
and Joe.
Guys, it's been a minute. We've been bogged down with a lot of our own stuff. We've also been going through a lot of winter struggles, whether that be physical struggles or mental.
It's been so cold.
Man, it's like this was the first day that it like actually warmed up for a minute and everything started melting. I was like, everything started
downright tropical today, and tropical means it was 45. I was out there in a t-shirt, driving around with the windows down, hot summer day type things.
Nah, for sure. It legit in like my Alexa at least was saying that it got to 53, and I was like, holy crap! Like, I was halfway to like actually considering like taking the bike out for a minute. I was like, ooh.
I was working with the garage door open.
Well, you could hear the birds in the morning. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
I just want like actually sealed windows so I can open up my windows and like critters don't fly in. But it was
Snow White over here.
It's still white over there?
No, we got Snow White over here with all the critters wanting to fly into your house.
It's not any of the good stuff. It's like, Snow White attracting wasp. Like, I just bringing in a bunch of bees. Oh man.
Well, I mean, everyone needs honey.
The bees I'd be okay with. Bees I'd be like, all right, we can relocate you and we can help you thrive and be good. But I don't want no wasps. Huh? No, fuck that. Like, we don't need wasps.
Don't like the stingy boys, huh?
Ah, dude, I've already got issues with needles. I don't need a murder.
Little buzzers.
Fuck, man. So besides it being a tropic day in sunny Peoria, Illinois, what have you guys been up to?
Oh man. A ton.
Fair.
Balance it out. I've been doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Aaron and I are bookends right now. And I'm the heavy side.
I mean, fair.
So the crate is in what I hope is the final revision, the milk crate.
Yes.
And I have a box full of release candidate parts and a stack of release candidate panels in the garage. And I'm hoping to get them put together this weekend. And if they're good, I can finally start talking to Adam and Aaron about how we're going to release these files so all you nerds can make your own tiny CNCs. I'm really kind of ecstatic about that. I'm like ready to get that out of my brain and move on.
I think it's coming at the perfect time because like it's a really cool project that you've been working on for quite a while. But funny enough, within the last week or so, I've just started seeing things like it on Kickstarter, like very small, like kind of pocket NC, very, very like tiny-ish, meant for like PCBs and whatnot. So I think there is starting to be enough of an interest to where having an open source one that you're going to be working on and releasing all these files for is going to be a huge boom to the market for a lot of cool people to be able to start making cool things with it.
Yeah. this doesn't make PCBs. This makes like aluminum parts.
Right.
It rains chips off the door.
Aluminum PCBs.
Aluminium.
Yes.
Aluminium.
No, I'm really jazzed about it. It's just the Tormach robot project like really hit me hard. This was all supposed to happen at the end of December, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, you really need to move your entire shop tomorrow. Can you do that?
Like,
okay. Let's go into full replan mode and move all of my machines and then redo it all. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Do that. But it's been good. It's been good. And I'm really excited because it gave me a chance I took such a long break that I wasn't confident in anything with it anymore. So I had to go back through the Fusion file and like check everything. So I'm like, what if I forgot something? What if I had something in the back of my head that I didn't write down, which I've gotten pretty good about. And I was able to fix a whole bunch of little things with the project, like the crate itself parametrically updates by panel thickness, and there's lots of dimensions in the machine that are dependent on the thickness of the plywood that you're building the box out of.
Yeah.
So, and all of those dimensions update properly now, and there were a whole bunch that didn't update like they should when I changed it. And it was good because I went with a completely different type of wood from a completely different supplier this time, and it was like a 2 millimeter difference of panel thickness. So it really gave me a good opportunity to go through and be like, well, did all this update? Is there interference in all these files? And there were definitely issues. And I think I caught them all.
Nice.
So we'll find out this week when I put it together. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Fair enough. Yeah, man, it's been a lot of work for me. A lot of actually like trying to get stuff done and knocked out. Besides that, like, I don't know. I guess I can kind of talk to a little bit of Maker burnout right now. And just trying to like keep afloat. I think, and Aaron, you chime in whenever you want, because I feel like you might be going through some of the similar stuff. One of the things that motivates me the most.
I'm already feeling it.
Yeah. One of the things that motivates me the most on a lot of the projects that I work on is deadlines. And having something out there for me to kind of push myself towards creating that structure. And with a lot of the cosplay, a lot of the projects that I want to work on, I don't really feel like there is any right now. We don't feel like going to any cons currently. The soonest one that we're potentially thinking about would be in July. And even then, it's June or July. I can't remember. I'd have to look at it again.
Is it Murph? Because Murph is late June.
That was one thing that I was going to bring up. That is slightly motivating me. But we're in the beginning processes of thinking if we want to venture out. There's a chance that I could get on the vaccine list here soon. Because I have so many interactions with the public. And so because I'm a forward facing employee for a lot of the stuff that I do. So I would possibly be safe. Laura has already had COVID. So we're pretty sure that they're safe, but it's hard because like there's so many projects that I remember going into quarantine and thinking that I wanted to do, and I've just not done a lot of them. And a lot of them are in very close to like ready to go or almost done states.
Mm-hmm.
The T-Rex, the Indominus Rex, all the parts are purchased. Everything is at my office. I have a mouse droid, which is like an official 2-spec movie mouse droid kit. And I've done nothing with it. I have all the parts. I would have to print off a few files, but all the parts are there. I got frustrated with that one because I was printing off a couple of the parts and the printer was having trouble at the house. So I'm hoping at some point when I start getting the courage and drive to print again, that it will not have problems like it did at the house at the office. And then R2. Like, I've talked for so long about how I want to do R2, but not only am I like burnt out on projects right now and like intimidated, but I'm intimidated by starting a project, because that's such a big project. And though I'm like so excited for it and I want it, I'm still at the same time very, very intimidated by starting that thing because there's so many new skills that I'll have to learn in that whole process.
Oh, but that's the exciting part.
It is. It really is. Like the amount of electronics and RC and all of that kind of stuff, it does like get me going. The programming, there's not a whole lot as long as you stick with like a couple different boards and whatnot. All of them are going to communicate fine if you use the pre-built files. But it's the voltage regulation. Like, what do you want to use for your batteries? Like, what's going to work for that? Do you want to use like Black & Decker rechargeable batteries, or do you want to put car batteries in there? Like, there's so many different variations for what you can do for certain things that it's intimidating. It's very much like, what are you going to do? And at first I always thought like, well, maybe I'll print bottom up so I have time to start deciding things. But now I'm just kind of like, do I just want to print the dome so that way I can like start like seeing this thing and going like, I need to start working on it. Like things need to start happening.
Yeah, I think you should print the dome because the dome is probably the hardest part to print for one. Yeah. And for two, the dome is like probably the most iconic piece of R2. So having a dome hanging out, staring at you, isn't a loss, even if you don't build R2. Make a lamp out of it. I don't know.
Right.
But you know, if you have a dome sitting there staring at you, you're gonna finish it.
Yeah,
or I'm gonna take it home and finish it.
That's kind of where I'm at. Especially like the dome is a scary one because like the main reason that I got a 500 by 500 printer is because you're supposed to be able to print the dome with no supports on a 500 by 500.
That seems that insane to me.
It's been done many a times. Specifically on those CR10s.
That's interesting. I want to see it.
So he specifically, so I'm talking about Mr. Badley, Michael Badley, which I would love to, I've been meaning to reach out to him recently because he does his own podcast. I've been meaning to reach out to him to just like talk about the process of like him designing all the bots and whatnot, and like going through the process. So
yeah,
I highly doubt that he's listening to this right now, but if anybody does know Badley, would love to get him on the podcast and talk to him about the process. He's done everything, but he specifically designed R2's dome in particular to be printed with no supports on it. And I believe most of the other droids as well are able to be printed. The domes in particular are able to be printed without any supports. I believe the other one is Chopper. Chopper is also able to be printed without supports. And I believe either R5 or one of the other R series is also able to be printed without supports. and it's just he knows his stuff. He knew what he was doing, and he designed it well. So he wanted to make it as easy as possible, not to have to sand off a bunch of stuff in order to get it to a place where it would look good. And when you put supports in, yeah, you are gaining that potential like strength in the print to be able to be more reliable, but you do end up having to do a good amount of cleanup. And not only that, but depending on your support material, you could end up ripping up some of the parts. And that's what I've had happen on some of my custom parts. I
will say that if you have dual extrusion, like I do on the Taz Pro or the Tool Changer, and you do the PLA and PETG, so either PETG supports and PLA part, or PLA part and PETG supports, there is seamless. There's no marred surface. You can't tell where the supports were.
Interesting.
It's basically like a header assembly for a motorcycle, I think it was. And, I cocked it at a 45-degree angle and printed it in a bed of PLA supports. And I got the support off without breaking the supports. So the supports were one piece and the part was one piece.
So like an SLA print where you just kind of like snap it a little bit and it just like poop.
Yeah, it was more held on by like suction or like the supports encasing the part than anything else. And the surface was like baby's ass smooth.
I mean, when I get the Andromedas up and going, that would be fun to kind of play with potentially.
There was some people have said that it's difficult to do, but I have some 15 kilogram rolls of just natural PLA that I use for like bulk printing. There's nothing special about it, and I just used that, and I used 3D Fuels Workday PETG, and I just set the settings, and I took out any separation distance like you would for a dissolvable support, and I printed it. Didn't do anything fancy, and it worked awesome.
Fair enough. Neat. I'll have to play around with that maybe. But, well, that's been me struggling. I also will say selfishly, if you did listen to the last episode, I was going through a lot of stuff. I hopped off the podcast and I talked to the guys like a smidge. I was going through some crap. And that really put me in a sad place. And I kind of let that slip out. And we want to be real, but yeah. Like I never want to be not authentic, but I also don't want to be like a harbinger of like depression. And I want us to always be encouraging people to go beyond and continue to do better. And at the time of recording that one, I just wasn't. And that was my bad. And so I just want to say sorry. And I love you guys. And prove me fucking wrong. Like, do the best that you can do. And show me the fuck up. If you're motivated by spite, fucking do it.
That's right.
Don't let the shit that I said ever get to you. 'Cause that's nothing. You got this. So
you should do it out of love.
I mean,
no.
You should, but spite I find is a far bigger motivator in a lot of circumstances.
I'm typically motivated by spite and currently Girl Scout cookies.
Wait, when are you guys getting yours? Did you guys already get yours?
These are leftover from last year, man.
Oh, dude, how are you letting things last? You let Girl Scout cookies last that long?
Because I had an entire case. I got tired of them. All right. I'm just now to the point where Samoas seem like a good idea again.
Oh man. No, I even told you guys when I was over there, I was like, let me know when you're ordering, because I at least want to benefit like some kids that I kind of know. So
no, we avoided it this year because I was like, who are we gonna sell these to? We don't see people.
Right. I saw some out at Hy-Vee. There was some troops still selling, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, her troop was at the grocery store this weekend when I was there, and I was just like, you poor bastards.
For real?
It's cold, and you're out here doing this, and I'm not.
Right.
I don't regret that for a second.
Yeah, there was like one of the kids like standing outside, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, I'm still going to come inside. I'm not going to like see you and immediately dart away.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, man. Aaron, man, tell me about it. Tell me what you're going through.
Well, I was talking over with the guys earlier today, and like, I haven't really been feeling that mood to work on anything for the past month and a half, really. Part of that just because work's gotten really busy this year, so I've been putting in a little extra hours to kind of make those deadlines. And then
good employee, Aaron. Good employee.
Well, we're down to one salary now, so we have to make sure it stays there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was by choice, but
right,
I can't really risk it. Anyways, if I have energy left over to do anything, it's not really making stuff hasn't really felt that big of a priority. And like I said, I don't think it's depression, and I don't really think it's burnout, because it's not like I couldn't make something if I wanted to. I just don't really want to.
Well, you've been kind of making your own lot in some different stuff. Like,
yeah. So I had let's see. In the beginning of the year, like in the first or second week, I had a bit of a spiritual awakening. So I've been kind of exploring that the past 2 months, doing a lot of reading, like introspections, meditation, just kind of figuring out who I am. And that's been kind of my biggest priority the past 2 months, was kind of working on myself, kind of, learning who I am if you were to strip away, all the societal constructs and whatnot. So just been kind of working on that. Then we've got that stream coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to take this is about the first opportunity in the past 2 months I felt like working on something for fun. So I actually have a better idea. I think I'm actually going to finish my Stream Deck that I started on last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My DIY Arduino Stream Deck. So I think that'd be a much more fitting project to kind of showcase on the stream.
Nice.
It's super if you're still like as it was the last time I saw it, which the last time I did see it, I think you had an aluminum frame at that point. If it's anything like that, it's still very much cyberpunk kind of feel. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I hand wrote the UI in Arduino. And by hand wrote, I mean, I used the library, but I designed. I aligned and I ordered the squares myself. Actually, I'm actually kind of proud of it. It uses a for loop to draw all the squares.
Hell yeah!
So I'm not just like a dingus and copy pasting. It's so the whole design is that it's extendable in the code. So the hardware is all done. I have a Fusion project, so it's 3D printed. But it's on like a 35, maybe 45 degree angle.
Yeah.
And it's really neat. I try to make it kind of like slick and modern. So it's like a C or like a V. Yeah. With like a rounded corner that sits on your desk. But I didn't really anticipate this, but it's very springy. Interesting. I just made a big spring with a touch screen. But yeah, so I did that. So it uses an Arduino Leonardo, which has an actual, whatever the USB chip is in it that keyboards have.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah,
a
the
basic
interface.
USB OTG chip. So it can actually output actual keyboard presses. So it can emulate a keyboard. So I'm using that to basically make a DIY Stream Deck / macro pad. And you can customize what the buttons say and their colors and stuff. But really the big thing was most streams actually have a fixed number of buttons on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to try and add 2 little arrows on the sides. And then you can have like any number of
Oh, you
screens.
can swap. Okay.
You can like swap layouts like on
Hell
the thing
yeah.
itself. So that's the last thing I have to add yet, but everything else works kind of. So
Yeah.
Nice.
it'd be a good excuse to finally finish a project that I've been just letting sit, and also have something relevant for an event that we're doing.
Yeah. No, we're
I'm just excited to do an event that we're not hosting.
Yeah,
boy, ain't that the truth.
didn't think about that. That's nice.
Like, I love the events that we get to host, and I it's super fun. But I am going to be super glad to be able to hop on for our time slot and then hop off if I want to.
Yeah.
Like just being able to do that and not have to like worry about, okay, transitions and who's coming up next and all the back end stuff that I normally have to on all those.
Well, that in the weeks ahead of time panicking, like
yeah.
nobody's going to show up, nobody's going to watch this. Why are we even doing this? Who the fuck are we? Why would anybody want to do I'm never doing this to myself again.
We've been proved wrong like every time we've done it.
Doesn't make it any better, Chris.
It doesn't, but it's fun.
If anything, it just makes more pressure because I'm like, the last one was well attended. Why the fuck wouldn't somebody? Of course, nobody's going to watch this. Oh my god.
I mean, yeah, it's fun though, man. Like I get such a high like in the middle of it, even where it's just like this is so cool to be a part of something like this, because though 2020 sucked ass, there's been so many cool things that have come out of it still. I never would have thought that we would have been like renowned for well hosting maker events.
Yeah.
To where we've been asked back to help others be able to do stuff. Like, I never would have thought of that. That's an incredible thing to me that like we did that 100% on a whim, partially out of spite. But we were like,
remember that motivation concept we talked about earlier?
Like, we found out something. I'm not going to out people. We found out something. We got excited. And we were like, you know what? Like, no, we can do this and we can do it better. And so we did. And then we hosted other events and we did some really cool stuff. And it's been really fun. But it is going to be nice to be able to kind of relax on this one. And, we're each talking about kind of cool stuff. I might have some surprises. I'm going to let the guys sit on it for a night or two to make sure that they're okay with the kind of thing that I got going into it.
You do you.
I love Cyberpunk. I have for a very long time. I played the board game when I was a kid. It was very into all of the aesthetic and comics and all of that stuff. So Cyberpunk's been a huge part of my life for a very long time.
Did you read Neuromancer?
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Did you read the other one?
Snow
Crash?
Snow Crash, I've not read it yet. I've heard a good amount about it. I'll
get you the audiobook. You got drives coming up.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
You need of all the people in the world, you need Snow Crash.
Fair enough. I believe I still got your NAS. I still got your audiobooks that I can get to.
So Chris, why haven't we played Shadowrun yet?
What do you mean, why haven't we played Shadowrun? You play Shadowrun?
I have the 5th edition core rulebook for Shadowrun.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
have a lot of fucking RPGs that I never played to play with.
That's the hard part, man. No, I completely get that. I'll tell you what, the best quote ever got said to me this last week. being poly is fun because you can get a bunch of nerdy ass people together, and friends with benefits doesn't just mean one thing. So, essentially, we're making a giant nerdy polycule in our group, which is freaking amazing. Right?
Living the dream.
Trying, man, trying. But yeah, no, we can 100% get down and play some games. We're Laura is hosting a new Kickstarter they just backed called Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
I think I saw that.
Which is a really, it looks like it's going to be some really fun one-shot kind of stuff. And then I backed both their campaigns for BESM, which is like an anime version of Dungeons and Dragons. And so
Awesome.
it plays on some really kind of like tropey stuff is character abilities. So you can like,
Do you have to yell your attacks?
oh, I believe so. I believe
Yes.
that does add like a charisma modifier or an attack modifier if you actually yell your stuff.
Yes.
Excellent.
But yeah, no, we're gonna 100% play some games. Shadowrun especially. But yeah, so that was a complete side tangent. We were really excited to be even invited to the VirtueCon hosted by the Cyberdeck Cafe. And it's going to be a really fun time. I have very much been a lurker in there for a while. I love just looking at the project gallery. It honestly fills me with so much joy. I don't like, there's enough things that I'm in right now that like, I'm very much lurking in a lot of things. I'm not very active in a lot. But I love that community. I love seeing the cool stuff that they've come up with. Like a bunch of channels are just devoted to people sharing what decks that they're currently working on and all that kind of stuff. So it's super cool just to like chill in there and just scroll through progress and all that kind of stuff and see what people are working on. It's a completely different type of maker group that our makerspace didn't have in it. And that's really cool to just see a completely different aspect of the maker community. Like this is very much like a hacker space rather than a maker space. But there's so many things that overlap that make it so much fun. Like a lot of the guys and gals and thembies are all 3D printing a lot of their stuff and custom soldering keyboards and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, man, like it just gets me so hyped every time that I look in there. So I'm super excited to be able to talk to those guys, and be able to experience the cool stuff that they have ahead for us, as well as see what people are going to be unveiling, at VirtueCon. So super excited. If you have a chance, let me pull up the doc. I just had this up, I believe. So it looks like if you're going off of CST, which is what we go off of, it looks like it's going to be starting at 6 p.m., PST 4 p.m., and EST 7 p.m. So it looks like they're going to be starting the event then. They might have some music going on for that. And then it looks like a little bit later on, around 7, is when their actual video stream will start. And they'll be able to do some kind of cool stuff throughout that. So please encourage these awesome makers by showing some support and being able to attend and chat and see what everybody else has to show. We will 100% be linking the event on our Twitter and other social media platforms when it starts. I don't have that right now, but when the event comes, I'm sure we'll send that out a couple hours early when we get it. And then when it actually goes down, we'll definitely send it out as well. So great shot for our Twitter. We also have an Instagram. So if you guys don't already follow us on those are the best ways to get in contact with us, be able to see all the cool stuff that we're kind of working on. be able to see us load a giant freaking mill into Joe's garage, in the process that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's me rambling for a little bit. Aaron, that sounds fucking awesome. I'm going to be really excited to see that, even though I just bought a Stream Deck XL.
Yours probably work better.
Probably a little bit. It does like little flashes of emojis, and like the whole thing is you can basically replicate an image with all the buttons, and then you can, with the XL, you can have it do that, and then you can page flip, and then it will be all of your like functions. So you can like have kind of like a screensaver on there, and then it key through, and then have all your functions on there. I'm like, I can't wait to actually start doing this, but apparently there's a little bit of like learning to it. So I got to figure that out first and just sit down and learn it. And I haven't had a project yet where I've had to focus and do that yet. So we'll see.
That's always the requirement, right? Like you always need like the one thing to push you over the edge to make you finally do the thing.
Well, and that's what I was excited for.
Was for me.
Yeah. I was excited for, because I did have a project that was coming up, that I had specifically bought it for that, because I had hosted an event, solo, for a, Buddy Piercer art, and it was really cool. We did a lot of cool stuff. It was hosted by Jewelry This Way. Brian, can love you, man. You're great. And it was really cool. And so we had talked about potentially doing it again. And so I wanted to do better and wanted to get to a point where I was really offering them a really good service. And so I went and I upgraded my PC. It was already due for it anyways. But I was like, I want to do this. And so a couple of the things I bought were specifically to do better hosting. And that was one of them. So I had something lined up, and then
that's how
I don't know what happened. Like things happen. It's crazy years. But it looks like we're not doing it now. Or at least they're not using me to host it. Totally understandable. I have no hard feelings about that in the slightest. I very much changed a little bit in between. So yeah, so I just haven't had that thing to do it yet. So hopefully soon I'll find a project to work on that with.
We've got all kinds of stuff coming.
I hope so. I hope one event in particular. I hope we get to do that. If we do, I'll be using it a lot at that one.
So the one other thing that I am super fucking excited about.
Go for it.
There's a whole bunch of other things, but maybe I'll save some of it for the Cyberpunk cast. I finally have stupid tools, everyday carry tools. Finally ground them. Stupid things. And I gave up on my DIY parts tumbler, mostly because I can't fit them all into it in one shot. And I bought a real big boy parts tumbler, and that'll be here tomorrow. And I'm really excited about it because I want to tumble everything I make now. And then I am going to very likely machine the titanium ones, because I ground one part way and it destroyed 3 belts in the process.
Damn. I mean, that sounds about right, but damn.
Yeah, I bought new belts. Apparently grinding titanium is a bit of a process, so I bought a whole bunch of like new belts that said titanium in their description.
Yeah.
And we're from a company called Combat Abrasives. That just like screams, I'm gonna titanium, get the fuck out of my way, hopefully.
Fair enough.
But then I did a little bit of research, and like I should be able to machine the flats on the titanium ones with no issue with the Tormach. So I'm gonna do some 3D printed fixturing for that, and try to get that done maybe this week. But once they're tumbled, they'll be ready to sell. So I know a bunch of people were excited about these, and I have had a few people reach out to me like, "Hey, jackass, you teased these weeks ago." I'm like, "Yes, I know. What else did you expect? Have you listened to the podcast? I'm perpetually a month late." But no, it's just, we want to do it right and make them not suck, and I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Fair enough.
There's been a lot of stuff, but I'm really excited about those. There's something else I was going to talk about. I don't remember what it was, so I will talk about that later.
Well, I mean, we have another thing coming up this week. We're going to try and, I mean, if things go well, we should be able to hopefully have this out on Thursday. So you will literally be listening to this Friday, Saturday. So 2 days before VirtueCon. So if you didn't hear it here, you might hear it there.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
You got anything else, Aaron?
Nope.
All good. All good.
All right. Well, I am exhausted. It has been a long week.
Yeah.
So if you guys are good, I'm going to go to bed.
You got to stop the podcast first.
Yeah, that's a thing, I guess.
Well, thank you, guys, for listening, for keeping this going. Guys, we're fucking approaching 100 episodes. We are officially 9 episodes away from 100. And I don't know what we got to do, but we definitely got to plan something. Maybe the return of Hot Tub Podcast.
It's full of ice right now.
Oh man, I'm sure we
the
can.
Ice Tub Podcast.
Polar Plunge Podcast.
Ick.
Hard no.
Right. We'll figure out something. We'll start shooting around some ideas. We'll figure out something to do for 100. The fact that we've made it this far, the fact that we've grown this far with this community, that people have come out and met us at events, to people just like helping us through our projects, we helping you through projects, been able to be a part of so many betas and cool things, would not be possible without you incredible people who have continued to listen, continued to encourage, and continued to be such badasses in the community. So
absolutely.
Without further ado, my chooms, I will see you at VirtueCon. Remember to tell all the corpos to fuck off.
You've been wanting to say that all day.
All day.
Fuck yeah, I have.
You have no idea how many times he's typed that to us.
Chooms. Chooms is my new favorite. I'm nobody says friends anymore. It's all my chooms.
I'm going to send you the link to Snow Crash, and it's a really long book, so you won't finish it by this weekend, but you need to start it by this weekend.
Okay.
Like, just because of the things you've been saying to me today. Oh god.
Did you guys? I'm sorry. Did you guys catch me and Fred's like whole conversation, which was the fucking like the most purest, but also cyberpunk shit? And I fucking love Fred.
Yeah.
Like Fred is the best human.
Fred's an amazing member of our makerspace, and he just constantly gives me faith that things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
Except for my servers now telling me that it's 93% full.
Fuck. Okay. Well, let's end it. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and
this is the end of the podcast.
Keep making stuff.
Shit.